North Node in Aries. Okay, so I have the North Node in Libra video if you want to check that out, because the North Node in Libra folks have their South Node in Aries, and sometimes you can get some tips from both videos because it's the opposite of you, right? But at the same time, it's showing you what you're moving away from, where and what they're moving towards what you used to be. You're moving to what they used to be. Okay. North Node in Aries. So first of all, you're here to allow yourself permission to explore and experiment and be adventurous. And really put your self-interest in mind. In a past life, in a South Node in Libra, you had to be tied to another person, or something that was legally binding, or something, because Libra could also be dealing with legal, like, you know, the scales, balance, also, you know, coming together to an agreement, things of that nature. So you, in a past life, you know, your partnerships took precedence. Your partnerships were more important than the individual. And maybe for some reason in the past life that worked and you had to do that. But remember, with the South Node is the past life energy. You don't have to agree with past lives all the way to understand this. The North Node is what you're moving towards. And so in a past life, you would have already understood how to cooperate within a partnership. And again, by partnership, a lot of times we immediately think romantic. It also could be business partnership. But either way, your South Node in Libra, you had to bring harmony, you had to bring things together. And when you have to bring things together, you have to understand the perspectives of more than just yourself. So a lot of what you did was trying to bring harmony and balance. Now, in this life, you're now here to spread your wings. You know, instead of clinging to otherness, instead of clinging to being around others or having to feel that I have somebody, you're going to now start to feel a different way when you start doing things independently. That does not mean you can't have meaningful partnerships in this lifetime. It doesn't mean you become selfish. A lot of people are, you know, it doesn't mean that. But it means you start working in your best interest. You have to develop your own independence. You're not a person who's meant to, perhaps, for some people, it's like you might not want to live with your siblings forever. Like, if you're an adult and you're like, yeah, you know, me and my siblings, we still live together. Maybe for you, like, you actually should be moving on your own. For some people, it's entrepreneurship. It's like, that's why you're not happy at work, even though you make a lot of money. Or maybe that's why you're not happy anywhere you go, is because you're supposed to be forming your own direction. Cardinal fire Aries. And it doesn't mean you become an Aries. You're not an Aries because your North Node is an Aries. But however, you're following that same path, that same approach, that same mindset, and that energy source of what Aries is like. You know, I know some very motivated people with North Node in Aries. So it doesn't mean you only care about yourself. It means that you have to have your own drive. And you have, when you have something, you have to go forth with it. Some people can't do being risky, but you might be able to take more risks and still be okay with it. That you'll come out on okay because it already matches what your spiritual path is supposed to be in the first place. So, for instance, I know one person, I know a lot of people with, well, a decent amount of people with North Node in Aries. One person I know in particular has a business. And he cares about his community, and he's done a lot of things within the community, and he's worked on a lot of projects, and he's worked on his own outreach and his business and his clientele, and worked with in education, and he motivates others. Right? So I want us to understand North Node in Aries doesn't mean you're like only caring about yourself, but it can mean that what you do impacts others because you're willing to take that risk. You're the person like, I got to do this. And you don't get hung up in ideas. And you don't get hung up in like, oh, let me go see what my partner thinks. Or, oh, I need this many people to agree with me before I start my business. No, that's not what you're here to do, North Node Aries. You're here to trust your own instincts. You know how Cancer energy is linked to intuition? Well, you're linked to instinct, pure instinct. All right. And so that's an example of this person like who uses spark and his own initiative to still impact other people and still maintain his North Node purpose. You know, and Aries has to get, you know, be a little bit comfortable. You also have to be comfortable defending yourself when necessary. If you're coming from a place of arbitration, you're coming from a South Node in Libra, where all you did was have to constantly like be balanced and constantly even maybe, you know, within your conversations with other people, feel like you always had to look at their perspective. That's not a bad thing at all. And perhaps some of you are North Node Aries and you have Libra in your chart. So it doesn't mean you're giving up anything that benefits you in your life. But it means that sometimes you're going to also have to learn how to be uncomfortable in some ways, because you're not going to be comfortable with conflict. And I don't think you need to go around beating people up, but like you're learning also to stand up for yourself. You're learning your own worth. You're learning your own value. So that's really important. And the last thing I want to say is the difference between your nodes. Okay, so Libra is mental, it's air energy, and Aries is physical, okay, and it's drive. So you're, I would say for many people, North Node in Aries, what I've seen is physical activity is really important for you guys as well. Like really staying active, staying physical. It's almost similar to like Moon in Aries in a way. You know, and it's just, I've seen it. Like Aries energy has to be expressed. It has to move. And so a lot of you sometimes might find like it's something that you find, and some people just work out just to look good, but for you, it's more of a release. So just keeping that in mind. Not that you can't care about mental things as well, but that physical release is going to be really important as well. And so yeah, you're here to learn. You know, you're seeing the value also in the body with that workout stuff. You're learning the value of the body, like how to keep yourself healthy. Because remember, Libra was all about the mental and keeping the mind in a certain accordance with perspective, and keeping the mind rational, and keeping the mind able to discern, and being able to connect through people. So that's what I would say for North Node in Aries. Again, I'm planning to do some more videos, maybe going a little bit more in depth with some of these nodes, but this is just the introduction series. So like this video if you are North Node in Aries or you know one and this resonated with you. Please make sure that you follow me on Instagram, Amethyst Virgo. I do original horoscopes each month. I sometimes do some energy readings, and I also, you know, upload some different astrology posts throughout the week.